Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? So today, I want to apologize for not coming back on last night. Things just went a little longer than expected. Today we're going to do a little bit more education for now, because these things that I'm pointing out kind of come along with the things that are to come. The things that have already been said. The things that have already been said should be considered already, should already have action taken on them. Our council should have already made moves to look into all these allegations. It's their job. I'm going to read you their job here in a little bit, okay? We're going to go over this Constitution, our code, council members. It's Saturday. I know that some of you are really busy today and you finally have a free day from all these meetings you're in every day. Every day. And man, they're in meetings every day without one update. Without once telling their people anything that's going on with our finances, our entities, our COVID money. You know, we appointed Miss General Counsel to be the COVID relief risk manager. I don't know, risk manager? What does that mean? I don't even know if that's correct. But Nelva, why are you in charge of our COVID money? Aren't you General Counsel? Aren't you General Counsel? But now you're an accountant in charge of all this COVID money. Gosh, we're really lucky. We're really lucky to have somebody as good as Nelva on our side. Right, Nelva? Right? Let's see how you're working for us. Let's see all the things you're doing for us. Let's start seeing what Nelva does for this tribe. Let's start seeing the person who's actually ruling our tribe. Do any of you remember voting for this lady to sit in every single meeting to make these big decisions? Who put those decisions in her hands? Because in this book and in our Constitution, the control is in the council. Let's get that control back, council. What are you all hiding? Why haven't you made any moves on this? It only takes 3 of you to tell Mr. Aguilar, no, we're going to have a sit down with this. And he's not supposed to ignore that. He needs to do it. It says right here and in our Constitution. So you leaders better start reading what you're getting paid for. You were hired because we believed that you knew how to enforce and live by this code, by our Constitution. Our Constitution. We put most of you there because that's what we believe, that you knew, that you were knowledgeable in this area. And so far, you've proven very different. So it's time for you all to redeem yourself. It's time for you council members to redeem yourselves. Start holding this man accountable for the things that he's done. Because I've only touched the tip of it. You know, I've only talked about just the tip of it. Y'all need to hear the rest. Okay, so I'm always complaining about our court, right? Our court, these judges. Who puts these judges here? Why do we have them here? I just can't understand who's doing this. Where is this coming from? Because, you know, in our code, it says different, you know, about our judges. Miss Nelva, you should be very aware of this, and I'm positive you are, because of the way things are handled. It just shows that you're just avoiding these little things to get around our Constitution. Our Constitution! Okay. Did you all know that we have a clause in our code? I'm not understanding this clause because, oh man, because our Constitution says otherwise. So I'm not understanding. This clause purely benefits them. Okay, it purely benefits them, and it'll show it. If you look at it, all you gay followers, if you look at it, this at one time probably pertained to you, because I'm pretty sure you stood before their judges. I'm pretty sure you had to pay a fine, some jail time, something. And if they let you go, I wonder why. So, Chapter 2, Tribal Courts. Chapter 2, Tribal Courts. Council, are you listening? Nelva, Gabe, Tyner, Frizzell, all of you. Sharon, Jamie, all of you, tune in on these episodes about our codes and about our Constitution. You all need to know this. It's really important, because you're trying to bend it and punish us for all these little tweaks you're doing. We have so many non-tribals. I'd like to know why, because in here, it states we shouldn't. 213, composition of the court. A, the Mescalero Apache. Y'all better listen to that word Apache, because that's us. Mescalero Apache, that's us. That's us. Okay? Tribal court shall consist of as many judges as the tribal council authorizes. Where did that come from? Who put that there? Where did that come from? Because in a minute, I'm going to explain how hard it is for us to change our codes. It's really hard. So I'd like to know how it was done. Nobody notifies us of all these code changes. These are our laws we live by. But they don't notify you till you break their new law. Now you go down to B, and then you go down to C. B is important too. All trials shall be conducted before a single judge. A single judge. I sat before 2 judges last month for my slander allegations. 2, and one of them had no business in my court hearing. But guess what? She was not only in my hearing, she was the presiding judge. Judge Caneswa just sat there quietly watching her with his head down, knowing that that was his court. And this lady who violated my rights, and then I played it for you all here on Facebook, heard my case. Heard my case. 2 judges sitting in there. Don't get me wrong. Judge Caneswa did not make any ruling. He just sat there. That was his court hearing, but he just sat there. And Judge Dahl, the lady who just got through telling me that I wasn't allowed in her courtroom, her courtroom, Judge Dahl, then had the nerve to serve me for slander. And what happened with those slander allegations? What happened with them? They were dismissed. Why? When you're filed on for slander, you need to be able to prove what you say is true. So all of you that say things about other people's, I hope you know that unless it's, you say, rumor, accusations, all this, you better make sure, because that's slander. Mr. Aguilar likes to make statements, loves to go on open round tables and slander. Look it up. Talking about our president, our great president, as though he's just carrying on his dream. No, you're not. That wasn't his dream. That casino right there, that wasn't his. His dream was that big brown casino. Remember that really pretty one? That one. That was his dream. The one we owned, the one we didn't have to pay anybody for. That was his dream. Who files on Mr. Aguilar for slander? Because on that roundtable discussion that I shared, watch it. More than once. He slanders us himself. This man represents our tribe. Y'all better look into these codes. You council members, you judges that are up there with that mallet enforcing laws on your people, putting them away. giving them fines, giving them these restrictions. You better understand your codes. You better understand your codes, because you're violating our rights. Whether these people did wrong, whether they were in a drunken, crazy state and did the stupidest thing, they still have rights. They still have rights. Just like these criminals were hiding. Just like these criminals have rights, so do they. We actually have more rights than them. Did you all know that? Because we don't have a felony on our background, we have a little more rights. We get to do a little bit more. Isn't that crazy? You do a little bit more than your president, than your COO, than Mr. Cervantes. All these people driving these nice big vehicles with their DWIs, are they supposed to be? Where in our policies does it talk about driving a government vehicle while having a DWI on your record? While having aggravated assault and battery? Are we supposed to employ these people? I don't think so. If you all just took the time to look at this book, did you know it just sits there at the tribal court while you wait? I know we don't wait no more, but you could literally go in there and look at it. You can go in there and buy a $6 copy. Take a money order or cash and go get your copy. Learn our laws, because these are important to you. Our leaders are taking advantage of you. Even our council, they're taking advantage of our council because they don't know this. And if they did, if you council members do know this and you're allowing this to happen, shame on you. Shame on you for not upholding our laws, for not upholding our Constitution. Man, our Constitution is in black and white, clear as day, clear as day. But we're going to allow General Counsel, to come in and make these little tweaks to it, huh, Nelva? These little things that will help these criminals, to succeed. How much more people, Mescalero, Apache people, how much more are we going to allow them to do this to us? For these criminals to run our reservation into the ground. You don't believe me? Go look at our social service department. Look at our roads. Oh man, who in the world said we have great roads? Who? Who said that our roads are looking good? Because man, I think I've memorized every pothole from here to Timbuktu on our reservation. Now my little wagon I drive around right now, you really feel those potholes. They go just complete sections missing. Way to go, roads. Who was praising them? I'd like to see your road. Why are you praising them? Do you have a nice road? Let's see your family's road. Is this where that comes from? Because I don't understand how we're going to praise them when we're still sitting here driving on these crazy roads. Who's in charge of the roads department? So in this code, it talked about the judges, okay? All trials shall be conducted before a single judge. We know that's a lie. We know that's a lie. How many of you know that's a lie? How many of you have sat in there thinking you're going to get one, but you got all these judges and then they go in and out because they can't make their own decision? It states right there in front of them, black and white. The laws they are to abide by. Your little clerk should have put your little notes for you. Their previous charges, are they currently on any conditions? That's what you should be looking at. Not stepping out to consult with another person. This is your case. This is your hearing. This is your hearing. You better get your power. You better know your power that you hold at that court. You're enforcing our laws. You're putting our people away. You better understand what you're doing because you're violating our rights. Every time you do something and you don't know, you don't look at this book for direction and you go look at some person that just don't like that person and you're going to go with what they say because, oh, maybe the office called. Oh, maybe that's somebody's family. It doesn't matter. Black and white, every tribal member abides by these laws. We need to make sure that that is enforced from now on, that every tribal member abides by these laws. Leaders are not. The leaders should be held even more. I mean, our leaders should be expected even more than us. Even more than us, because we didn't run for council. They did. They did. I just actually watched our new 4 council members listen to their inauguration speech. Y'all better remember your words. Y'all better remember your words. Remember your people and who put you there. They're asking you questions and you all aren't answering them. You're going to lose your few that you got. Why? All they want to know is that rumor true about you? Because I voted for you. Can you tell them? What are you hiding? That it just upsets you. Instead of responding, you get upset. Okay. B, C, judges. Number 1, in the event that the chief judge or any associate judge recuses himself or herself or is disqualified, additional associate judges may be appointed by the president with the occurrence of not less than 3/4 majority vote of the whole council. Each associate judge shall, after appointment, sit on the panel and hear the cases assigned to the associate judge by the chief judge. In the event that the chief judge is incapacitated or for any reason unable to serve, the chief judge shall designate an acting chief judge from among the associate judges. In the absence of the chief judge, the duly acting chief judge shall perform the duties assigned to the chief judge. Oh, man. Then you go to our Constitution. Let's see. Where in our Constitution does it state the build-up, the construction of our court? Let's read this because it's in here. Everything that you all hear about from our leaders is in this Constitution. It's in this code. This code that they're just using against us. You can't just sit there and take it anymore, people. How are you just going to sit there and ignore all of this? All of this. Is it okay with you? Are you benefiting from it? How do they help you? What are they doing? Constitutional amendments. We'll get back to that too, okay? Look at this one here. It even has sessions of tribal council. You all can go up. It's on the Mescalero Apache Tribal website. New Home, News, Careers, Departments and Programs, Tribal Codes, and MAT Constitution. And it even has the contact us. Isn't that funny? Because they don't ever, I don't remember them ever contacting you back. I've asked them how many days now to contact me. Contact me. Contact me. Call me in. I've been asking. I've been leaving these messages for you. I've been leaving these messages for you. Okay? And none of you have responded just on your own feed that I'm blocked from, which is kind of cowardly, considering that I put most of you there. I helped put most of you there. So I feel that I should be answered. I should be answered. We're just going to go over this whole thing. The Mescalero Apache Tribe. Let's read this. Section 1. The Mescalero Apache Tribe of the Mescalero Reservation, hereinafter referred to as the Mescalero Apache Tribe, shall include all persons recognized as a member, therefore, or upon whom membership may be conferred pursuant to the provisions and restrictions imposed by Article 4 of the Constitution, in irrespective of the Apache band with which they are identified or may be identified. Territory, reservation. I'm going to go through this one at a time because I need to find this construction of our court, okay? There's an article on members. I had all this, but, laid out. But when you got to move around and try to do this without the tribe interfering, everything gets mixed, my little notes and everything. Our Bill of Rights. Let's read this. Section 1. Subject to the limitations prescribed by this Constitution, all members of the Mescalero Apache tribe shall have equal political rights. Did you hear that? In our Constitution, equal political rights and equal opportunities to participate in economic resource and tribal assets. No member shall be denied freedom of conscience, speech, religion, association, or assemble, nor shall he be denied the right to petition the tribal council for redress of grievance against the tribe. Article 6, disqualification of tribal members for election office. I'm so glad I went back through this. Y'all listen to this, okay? Because I've read some pretty serious charges. These aren't allegations, the charges I've read. I have proof of them. You want a copy? Let me know. I'll give it to you. This is proof. This is on a New Mexico court. Look it up. You don't want my copy? Go look it up for yourself. Punch in our leader's name. Punch in Tyner's name. Punch in Frizzell's name and tell me that's slander. Tell me that's slander. Okay? Listen. Section 1, disqualification of tribal members for elective office. Section 1. No person who has been convicted of any felony or other serious offenses. Did you hear that? No person who has been convicted of any felony or other serious offenses, including adultery, bribery, embezzlement. How many of you are working with embezzlement charges? Extortion charges, fraud, forgery. There's a good word. Forgery. Let's see whose signatures are on all of our president's paperwork to run. Let's see whose signatures are on Frizzell's paperwork for that position he's sitting in. Let's see whose signature is on Tyner's paperwork. On all these people, Sharon Scott, giving this non-tribal all our money, in charge of everything. Jamie Valdez. Let's see. Let's look at their forgery. Do they have any? It'd be good to know. Since they're in charge of some pretty big things, we need to know. Misbranding, perjury, theft, habitual drunkenness, or felonious assault or felonious battery shall be eligible for candidacy to any elective office of the Mescalero Apache tribe unless he shall have been pardoned by the president of the Mescalero Apache tribe in conformity with applicable ordinances and procedures prescribed by the tribal council. Robert, let's see this. Let's see your pardon. It says right here, you all, if he doesn't have a pardon, he needs to leave, and then we need to ask for everything back. Because I don't know who forged or who purged their name there. Who signed his paperwork? Who signed Mr. Aguilar's paperwork? And then him going and signing all these things illegally. This is illegally because he should not be where he is. He lied to us. And if you didn't lie to us, Robert, let's see your pardon. Let's see Mr. Aguilar's pardon. Let's get this general meeting, you all. Let's talk about how we're violating our Constitution by these codes. Nelva, can you explain how we're doing this? Because, you know, in the Constitution, you all don't have the power to change our codes. Without a referendum, where 1/3 of the voting members of the tribe agrees to change it. In order for you to change a code, the council, has to address it. They all have to vote. And then you're going to have to go, our tribal council must request from the Secretary of Interior to call an election for us, for us, so that we're aware of these changes being made. How did all that happen? They don't have to notify us. But what I'd like to know is when they did this, how did they not consider us? And they can't say they considered us when they changed these laws, because they affect a lot of us really drastically. And we're not breaking any laws. We're doing what our doctor told us. But they're going to violate our rights and tell us no. Maybe they want us to go to Helen's Hospital and get some prescriptions there. Maybe it should come from Helen or one of her doctors. And then they'll allow it. Who is the judge of our appealing court? Can somebody tell me that? Who's our judge for the appealing court? Who is the chief judge of the appealing court? Mr. Nicholas Mendoza. Who hired him? How did we hire this man against our Constitution? Organization of the tribal government of the Mescalero tribe. The legislative department. Composition and qualifications. You all read your Constitution. Okay, read it. Nominations and elections. Has all this in there. All this. I'm not sure if some of you are aware of this, but this is all in our Constitution, okay? Vacancies and removal from office. I really like this part. Section 1, any member of the tribal council or elected officer of the Mescalero Apache tribe who, during the term which he is elected, is convicted of any felony shall automatically forfeit his office. This felony was committed how many years ago when he was 30, a 30-year-old child? But because we're barely finding out and he hid it from us like this, it's like he committed it right now, just recently, It's the same thing. He hid it. None of us knew. And he ran. And we voted for a liar. Any member of the tribal council or elected office found guilty of a misdemeanor involving moral turpitude, gross neglect of duty, malfeasance in office, or misconduct reflecting on the dignity and integrity of the tribal government may be removed from office by a majority vote of the tribal council. You council better step it up. Speaking volumes for your people. Before any vote for removal from office is taken, such member or officer shall be given a written statement of the charges against him at least 5 days before the meeting of the tribal council before which he is to appear, and he shall be given an opportunity to answer any and all charges. At the designated council meeting, the decision of the tribal council shall be final. That's really important. And I really want our council members to hold him responsible. But then you got to think about them. If they have lacked this long in enforcing our code, do we have faith in them to make sure that this is done properly? There's more. Section 2. Upon receipt of a petition signed by at least 25% of eligible voters demanding recall of any member of the tribal council, elected officer, filed with the secretary of the tribal council at least 4 months before the expiration of such council members or official term of office. It shall be the duty of the tribal council to call a special election upon the question of recall. Such election shall be held no less than 25 nor more than 40 days from the filing of petition. No council members vote in favor of the recall, and unless at least 30% of the eligible voters vote in the election. So there's another way we can get him out. Okay, now here's number 3, section 3. If a member of the tribal council fails to attend this is for council members that don't attend their meetings, but I don't think we have a problem with that because they get paid too much money to miss any. They don't get enough to inform us, but they get paid enough to attend. Enough to get their money, but not to inform us or include us in these huge decisions. 4. In the event of vacancy for any cause in the membership of tribal council, the unexpired term corresponding to the vacancy shall be filled by a qualified person appointed by the president and confirmed by the tribal council. Council members, who authorized for Doralyn to be put back in there, for the president's mother-in-law to be put back in there? How many of you authorized that? For nepotism. How many of you did that? Why? Let's hear your reasons. Council members, listen to this. Article 11, Powers of Tribal Council. Section 1, the Mescalero Apache Tribal Council shall have the following duties and powers subject to all applicable laws of the United States, the Constitution, and the regulations of Secretary of Interior. A, to veto the sale, disposition, lease, or encumbrance of tribal lands, interests in lands, or other tribal assets that may be authorized by any agency of government without the consent of the tribe, and any encumbrance, sale, grant, or lease of any portion of the reservation, or the grant of any rights to use of land or other assets, or the grant of relinquishment of any water or mineral rights or other natural or fiscal assets of the Mescalero Reservation, and hereby reserved to the sanction of the tribal council. Did you hear all that? All that they're in charge of. Council, you need to read this part because you have so much here that you need to start doing. So much. Our Constitution and our code lays it out for you. Clear as day, black and white. What is right and what is wrong. And if you were reading these, you would not be sitting there allowing General Counsel and Gabe and Tyner and Frizzell to do all this. So you all better start looking into your codes and your Constitution, because pretty soon you all are going to have to face us, and we're going to want to know why. Why our laws aren't important to you. Why you couldn't answer us. Eventually, we're going to have to do this general meeting. Hopefully, Gabe will be gone by then. We don't need his answers. I got it all right here. You can't believe the words that come out of that man's mouth anymore. This great hero that did so much. Let's not forget all the other people that did a lot too and helped. Let's not just praise those criminals. It's so funny, just praising criminals. Review and approval of enactment. That's in here too, you all. I read that. I read part of that. How we get our Constitution, how we abide by that, to change our codes. Do any of you remember any of these things being brought up? I don't. I don't remember any of that. It's just crazy to me that all this is just gone. Let's find our hiring process, shall we? Because this goes along with it too. All of this. Why are these judges and all these other non-tribals being interviewed and hired over tribal members. Oh, wait, where does this say? Chief judge of the appealing court is the council. Section 2. Wow, did you hear that? It's not Nicholas Mendoza, it's the council for the appealing court. It's the council. It says in our Constitution. Why is this Nicholas Mendoza the appealing court judge? Anyway. Do you all see how we just like violate our Constitution? Having all of these judges there? Because in our Constitution, it doesn't state that that's how we process, how we do the process of judges. That's not what we do. It's just not right. You all like really need to look at this because these are your laws. They're putting on us these laws. President and Vice President term of office and qualifications. Man, look at this. Read this, guys. President and Vice President vacancies and removal from office in the event of a vacancy. For any cause in the office of the President, the Vice President shall assume the duties of the President until a successor has been duly elected or qualified. Let's make sure we put that in there because say we get lucky enough and we get him out of here. We can't just have anyone in there. We need to know the next steps, okay? And then we need to stay on them and make sure that they're abiding by these. Okay, we need to make sure. We need to make sure our votes are counting. Because the way our council's sitting right now, our votes didn't count. Our votes say different. Our votes say Nettie should be there, not Dorlin. Not his mama, not his mother-in-law. Such vacancies shall be filled by tribal members appointed by the tribal council, such person to serve until successor has been duly elected and qualified. In the event of a vacancy for any cause in both executive offices, such vacancy shall be filled by a special election called by the tribal council and conducted in conformity with applicable sections of Article, 9? Of the Constitution, except that the membership of the election board shall be appointed by the tribal council. Duties of the officers. Read that, guys, because these are your duties. The secretary of the Mescalero Apache tribe, the treasurer. We got some interesting stuff in here. Ordinance and resolutions. It's just crazy that we have all this here and we have nothing, none of you leaders living by it. We got all these judges just getting them. However, it says in our Constitution, it says right there, why are you not abiding by it? Why do you have these judges here? Who put them here? Who recommended them? Who recommended Judge Dahl? You council members need to understand that by violating our Constitution, you are violating your oath to office. You better look into that because you're violating your oath to office. By allowing all of this, you're allowing our president to let you go against our Constitution. Do you see what he's doing? You all are violating our Constitution by listening to him and not educating yourself. Isn't that insane? I've had a few more conversations from TC employees, Travel Center. I've been told that our travel center is paid for in full. Is that true? Do we own our travel center? We have no more debt to that? Because I feel like we're still paying for it, paying Warner for it, you know. So I'd like to know how all this works. Explain it to us. What these people are thinking. Some of these things that are being brought up. Because some of them don't understand what it means by saying we own it. Maybe you could explain it to us. What's going on with it? We have all these dumb things that you're building to, I don't know, we have a wasted baseball field down there. What's going on with that? Okay, we have so many other things we could be doing to earn money. I have a list of ideas from our employees there. Why do we have no bank to cash our checks? Why do we have to drive all over? I've seen our Native Americans, our Apaches that are homeless. Remember the homeless drunks? Standing in Wells Fargo lines and then being treated so ugly because they don't have a car but they need to cash their check. They've even had the police called on them because they were told they can't stand in line like that. Coach, go pick them up in your Maserati and take them to the bank so they can cash their check. Maybe you could withdraw then too. Okay? Where's our bank? Why can't we cash our checks at the casino? Why don't we have a bank of our own here for the tribe? Where can we cash? Where can these people cash their checks? Because, you know, not everyone has an account. So how do we help out everybody? Why don't we have any franchises? We keep opening these $1 million sports bars. We read it yesterday in that great resume. All the money we've spent, all these places. What about the travel center? That's right off the highway. You would think right off the highway we would want some businesses there to bring in and stop letting them go eat in Ruidoso. Let's make some money. Let's start using our head. We're right on the highway there. All that space. Let's get some franchise going. I wasn't aware that there's no table games at the travel center. Where are our tribal employees that do table games at the travel center? How do you like being at the inn? Why haven't we opened table games at the travel center? It's not safe enough? We're safe enough to do it at the inn. I've actually had Dots come talk to me about that. You know, we spend a lot of money. And we got to go all the way on to the reservation and go and play our games over there. Where are all these people here? That's a good question. Where are all our people? These are some pretty high stakes. This lady spends pretty big sums there. Lots of money. I'm sure there's some tribal employees that would love to go back to work. I know there's tribal employees that would love to go back to work. I have it right here. I talked to them myself. Nothing. Nothing to make money right there. Why? Why? I was also told yesterday after my post regarding our lucky tribal member that that's not accurate. I'm saying the wrong name, they said. It is not Mr. Jonathan Adams' wife that is lucky. However, they say that we need to go and pull the cameras because Mr. Adams and his family are usually very, very lucky early in the morning. I have at least 20 employees. Well, I guess they're not employees anymore because they haven't been called back. But they're pretty upset and they would like to know if Mr. Adams' children still go first thing in the morning and walk out with big payouts. Mr. Adams' mother, who won 3 days consecutively in a row, $3,000 on the same machine. These are big allegations. These are big things being said by our people, by our employees who sit there and see this. Let's look into Mr. Adams. Let's look into those games and how they're controlled. Let's look into it, because I've had a slot tech tell me it's possible. He don't work there anymore, but it's possible, and he knows it's done. So if you all feel that the Adams are lucky, next time you see them, shake their hand. Maybe that luck will rub off on you and you can go sit to their machines and you can win too. You all better look into those machines, into those cameras. You all better bring our tribal people back. Let's look up this tribal preference law so I can read it for you all, because it's really important. It's really important, okay, that we are considered. Not all these people, not all these criminals. No, we read chapter 29, the gaming. We read some of that. You council members, for Zale, you need to go back over that, because that chapter is important to us. It is important to us. You know that? You all are doing a lot of things because of that chapter. It's just insane to me that we have all this going on and none of you want to see it. That we have tribal preference laws. Did you know we have tribal preference laws? Where are those laws at? How come they're not being utilized? If we have tribal preference laws, why are we not hiring our people? I'm going to have to look at my screen here, because I need to, without putting our people first. Because that's a whole nother section in itself. It's a whole nother segment. A whole nother segment. But you know, the school came up again last night, yesterday. Some of them want to know how our babies are being kept clean when they leave. What precautions do you take when our children come home and when they go to school? You know, in and out. I was told that we use sanitizing sprays, big guns, you know, go into the classrooms and spray. Each custodian should have one of these big old guns to go into our baby's classroom and spray so that they're safe from this virus that is killing so many of our people. Now our custodians have to share, I don't know how many of these sanitizing guns, because they're too expensive to refill with the solution. It costs too much, as told to them by Mr. Who's Zach Flowers? I was told there's a Zach Flowers who is in charge of the school's maintenance and custodians. What happened to Angel? Where's Angel Signs? And if Angel resigned or left, why? And if Angel resigned or left and his position opened, why is Mr. Flowers in there? Let me see his certificate of Indian blood, because we need to start putting our tribal people in there. How many of you custodians at the school feel you're qualified? Do any of you have any knowledge in locksmithing? Because I'm told this is why we keep this non-tribal man. Oh no, that's the sleeper. That's the sleeper. I'm sorry. That's the sleeper custodian that we keep. But this man, Mr. Flowers, why can we not afford more spray and more guns for our staff to keep our babies safe? They were given money from COVID for that. Our COVID money, when will we hear about that, Nelva? Since you're in charge of it, since that's your title, one of your titles. When are we going to hear about all these things our money's being used on? When are we going to hear about our homes, our homeless people getting homes? How do you not tie that in with COVID? Exposing these people, they should be in their own home and not being with other people going into homes. How? Man, read our comments, you all. Council, you better start moving on these felons. There's no way that we're still paying Warner. You all better look into why we're paying them. Why we're letting a felon lie to us. No more. You all have a good day. I'll be back later and we'll talk about this preference, hiring preference. We'll pull out all these judges. I'll see you all soon. Have a good day.